Welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Steven Stark, and with me this week is the master of hype and love, Kyle Easy. Kyle's Fukin' Chickens, if I can go way back in my memory.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's Kyle from the channel Azor, Ahype.
Yeah.
Welcome, Kyle. Tell everybody who you are. They probably already know, but
Yeah. Thanks for having me, first of all.
You're welcome, sir.
On the I Know That Nerd, I've watched a few of these segments. I actually really enjoyed your segment with Courtney Matza, a good friend of mine. And
what a beautiful human being she is.
She's great. She's like an older sis, basically, for me.
I guess I kind of see her like that too, like a sister. Yeah.
And yeah, no, I watched the one with the Shea too, which was great. Yeah, no, I'm Kyle. I'm Azor Ahype. You mostly probably know me if you do the YouTube thing from content creation for Game of Thrones, The Song of Ice and Fire. But yeah, I'm kind of switching it up and covering some other stuff. Most recently, got to do some really cool stuff at DragonCon with the Expanse, which is really cool. And yeah, lots of new shows are coming up. Mandalorian, Watchmen this Sunday. And just really, really excited for the next couple of months. Vikings, Witcher, yeah, lots. I'm Kyle, Azor Hype.
Yeah, you're doing quite a lot these days. Well, you've done quite a lot, really, kind of since you got started.
Yeah, it's
you really jumped in with both feet, didn't you?
Well, I mean, at first I was kind of like most people in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of awesome people here. Rick Hoppy is a patron of mine. Great. Bernie, Jaded Redhead, who I met at Con of Thrones.
Right.
Robbie Meeson as well. Yeah, no, I kind of just like a lot. Some people know my story, Steven. I had a pretty bad back injury a few years back. I originally needed back surgery, and I was kind of going stir crazy. So I decided to kind of teach myself how to video edit and whatnot during that period. And it turned out I didn't need back surgery. And by the time I had kind of made videos, I kind of had created this like little community. And then yeah, after season 6 of Game of Thrones, it really changed after I went to Con of Thrones for the first year and kind of just went all in. I was like, I think I could maybe do this full time if I really tried. And yeah, I just took the risk and it worked. And now I'm here.
Good deal, man. Good deal. Yeah, I met you at the first Con of Thrones. You were still, or you had just changed your channel name, I think. And I had noticed that you changed your channel name, and but you still weren't putting your face on camera yet at that point, I believe.
No, I was doing live streams for like a while before that.
That might have been before I got into live streaming to notice anyway.
Yeah, so I've been doing live streaming for like a full year, maybe even more before that. Before I made, because I had just started and it was originally just for like fun, the whole Kyle's Fucking Chickens thing, because I loved the Sandor Clegane scene where he says, you know,
I'm gonna have to eat every fucking chicken in this room.
Somebody's gonna die over some chickens. I just thought that was like the most epic thing ever. So, you know, my initials kind of went in line with that whole thing, and I was, you know, it's just like a fun thing. But then like people started calling me the hype that was promised and stuff like that in the live chats, and I don't know, the name Azor Hype stuck, and I thought it was cool. We just went with like kind of like a different branding. Blaze Manga, great artists. We kind of like conceptualized Hype Bringer, Light Bringer, you know, like I don't know, just like a lot of like I don't know, I guess meta terms, like mainstream fun terms. Well, and that's really what I wanted to make the channel about anyways, was having fun and bringing people together. So.
See, and that, you know, I've had a few different content creators on, and I'm doing my thing now, and that seems to actually be a pretty common desire among content creators, is to have that sense of community and to want to foster that. And, you know, you've obviously done that with the people that you, not just the people who follow you, but the people you've chosen to work with as well. Because you can be found all over the place. Let's be honest. I've seen you on, I've seen you on Geek Chat 1. I've seen you on Secrets of the Citadel, you know, just to name 2 off the top of my head.
Yeah. I think, man, like at the beginning, like when I first started out, it was like, it was just like a hobby for me. I really enjoyed it. Like I've always like I grew up reading comics, like Marvel comics, and I love watching movies, of course, just and TV, like anyone else that enjoys a good story. And I don't know, it's just like in the beginning, I was like, yeah, this is like what I was trying to do is connect with people because like I wasn't in a very good spot, you know what I mean? Personally, and physically I wasn't. So this was it was like a really good way to kind of connect with people that had something in common with me and kind of just chat about the shows and TV series that I loved really. And I met so many cool people that kind of had shared a lot of the same thoughts I did, about Thrones in particular was the one I kind of really stuck with because like Lord of the Rings has always been my favorite movie series. And then Game of Thrones came out and I was like, whoa, this is like Lord of the Rings on crack. And I'm like, damn, this is my jam. So that's kind of how I got into it.
Right on. So did you come to the TV show first then? I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was actually a funny story. I'll tell it.
Sure.
So like when I was living in Ottawa, capital of Canada, one night I had a date. It fell through. My plans had fell through. And I asked my cousin who had lived in Ottawa, I was like, hey, like what's a show that I should watch? He said Game of Thrones. So I literally got home at like midnight after I got home, like after like things didn't work out. And I watched all of season 1 all at once, all 10 episodes.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, Ned Stark. Ned Stark all in one night.
Right.
So yeah, no, I started with and then that summer, that's when Dance with Dragons came out.
Okay.
And, so I read,
yes,
I literally read everything.
And so you got to the books pretty quickly after the show.
Oh man, addicted. I think my favorite book is probably A Storm of Swords, like a lot of people's favorite book is, but that really differs. I mean, I just thought that, the Red Wedding was such a crazy event, right? Even though I was really mad when I read it in the books, but yeah, no, I like all of them. They're all really great. Fire and Blood, actually, I didn't enjoy as much as the other ones, but
that's fair. Not everything George writes is the same, and I'm going to. I enjoyed Fire and Blood, don't get me wrong, but you're right. It's not the same. Like, I prefer The World of Ice and Fire.
Yeah.
Something that's even more abstracted from a narrative,
Well, I think there's so many characters to like in Song of Ice and Fire, like so many different POVs. Like, I love Jaime Lannister. You know what I mean? He's like one of my favorite characters. But I didn't find myself connecting with as many characters maybe in Fire and Blood. Like, I loved Alysanne and Harry's, and maybe some of the other ones, like Maegor. I just didn't care about him. You know what I mean? This stuff like that. I don't know, but yeah, Song of Ice and Fire, good stuff.
Yep. You're not going to get any disagreement from me. A Song of Ice and Fire is my favorite story I've ever read, or and if it might be my favorite story. Star Wars way up there. I'm a lifelong Star Wars fan, but yeah, I'm not going to disagree that it's.
The emotional impact that I think there's someone that you can connect with as a character in this, like there's someone for everyone, you know what I mean? I kind of I love Sandor because he's honest, but also because he's someone that has went through so much but still has a capacity to show compassion, even though he's in these incredibly dangerous situations, risking his life for these girls he hardly knows. But he sees himself within those people, and I see a little bit of myself within Sandor, I guess, and that's why I've always, loved the Song of Ice and Fire and Lord of the Rings, particularly. Like Frodo, for example, is one of my favorite characters ever. Just like seeing that the things that he had to deal with, but still manning up and having to do them. I don't know, just. In respect, Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, the emotional resonance from both the stories for me are just like they hit so hard, and that's why I like it, because they make you feel like you're alive.
Yeah, that to me is like the hallmark of really great storytelling, is that it makes you feel something.
Yeah,
whether it's joy or sadness, or if we're going to talk about certain coded weddings, where they can make you feel pretty disgusted, or what have you.
I think the great thing about Song of Ice and Fire, though, is like George gives you the perspective of even the people you may not necessarily agree with. You know what I mean? And that makes you kind of think about things more deeply, I think.
So would you say then that Sandor is your favorite character?
Oh yeah, definitely Sandor. Yeah, I'm also a huge Jon Snow fan. I mean, just I like the broken things, Stephen.
I mean, so does George. So
Yeah.
like, he's writing the story for you, and that has something to do with the fact that we're all somewhat broken things that are, I think all of us are, that are attracted to this story at such a deep level.
I mean, I think my three favorite characters are probably. I mean, my favorites are well, my favorites. I also love Tyrion Lannister, and of course, Peter Dinklage.
Show Tyrion.
I mean, man, I mean, Peter Dinklage just. I mean, people can say what they want about season 8, but Peter Dinklage was just amazing.
Yeah. I mostly
yeah.
liked season 8. I know I'm kind of in a majority, but I mostly liked it. I'm not, I'm the first to raise my hand and say the writer's room kind of failed us, but every other person on that cast and crew showed up to work and did their job and did the best they could. It's not their fault that the writing was not up to what I felt was par. But even then, it's like, I'm not a Hollywood writer. I don't know what constraints they're under. I don't know. So I'm not going to complain.
I guess like when the Emmys were happening and people were like, they're like, oh my God, how can Game of Thrones season 8 win for best drama? I'm like, do you know how much effort went to every single, like the costumes, like every single level of the show?
Like I had to kind of, I
don't go on Twitter. I don't go on Twitter much anymore because of this. You know what I mean? I try not to get, because I'm not one to not be honest, if you know what I mean. So yeah. But yeah, no, and one thing that I tried to do on the channel too is I try to remain objective. Like for content creation during season, it was really difficult because there was a lot of toxicity in the comment section and stuff like that. I try to remain objective, you know what I mean? Because I feel like if you're angry, you can't, because you can't really look at it as, I can't really, like with the same analysis I find if you're really angry about something,
I couldn't agree more. So Kyle.
Yeah.
Things I already know about you.
Yep.
You're Canadian.
Yes.
Are you like born and raised in Canada?
Yeah. So Ontario, northern Ontario, we get a lot of snow. It gets very cold during the winter, but we get beautiful short summers. Yeah. From Canada. I'm Canadian. 8.
How many moose have you killed?
Oh, how many moose?
Yeah.
Damn, man. I've killed a deer before.
Okay.
I haven't been hunting in like I was hunting maybe in my early teens. But I've actually had a moose go through my backyard, a big one.
I love Canada.
My old home, not this one. I think it was again, like 20 years ago. I'm getting up there in years too, man. I'm not that young anymore.
Are you north of 40 yet?
No.
I didn't think so.
I'm 33.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I've seen moose. I've seen beautiful wildlife. I've seen bears, stuff like that. Canada has its own beauty, just like anything. Pros and cons.
I am kind of trolling you with your nation stereotypes.
It's funny, like we do, like with it, like
I'm gonna get you to say sorry to me at least once before this podcast.
Yeah, sorry, Stephen.
All right, well, there you have it.
We I'm very close to Gemma and Helen and Robert in Deep Geek, and we joke around about maple syrup and stuff all the time, and like we have like little nicknames for each other and stuff like that. Yeah, I get called Canada sometimes. You know what I mean? I embrace it.
Sure. Well, I'm from Texas, and we have our own memes that people apply to me, like, "Where's your cowboy hat? Where's your cowboy boots?"
Y'all.
Hey, man, y'all is a real word.
You know what though? It's actually gender neutral, which is great.
It is. And
it
can be singular or plural depending on the context. I can ask a single person, "How y'all doing?"
You know who kind of I like through osmosis just from hanging out with him is Aziz. Whenever I hang out with Aziz, he says y'all, and then I get it. Like I'll say it like without like, you know what I mean? Like just when you're in, I don't know. It's about it's like when you're in the area or you're with people that talk like that, it's like you absorb it. Like even like Gemma and Robert, like they're British sayings. Like sometimes I'll find like a specific word or like saying, and I'm like, did I just say that?
I totally get what you mean. I love when British people say brilliant, and I've picked up on occasionally saying brilliant. Oh, that's brilliant.
Also, in the same respect, trying to be a troll and saying things on purpose.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to turn this into like making fun of colloquialisms or anything like that, but I did hear in a boat in there too, and that was like, oh yeah, nice.
There's quite a few awesome people in chat.
Yeah, there really is. You know what? We should say hi to some of them.
Shall we?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I see Robbie Meeson, Danny McKay, Kelly, the jaded redhead, Will I Am Bo, Mandy, aka Mandolin 523, good friend of both of us, I imagine.
Yeah, I've got to hang out with. She is a wild ride. That one.
She is. We shared an Airbnb at the last Con of Thrones, and it was a good time. Nessie was another questing beast in the chat.
Love the name as well.
Yeah, great magic card. We'll get to magic cards here in a little bit. Anna Iglesias. Hello, Bernie.
Chrissy of Oldstone, moderator for many channels. She's great.
Yeah, the greatest moderator in the land. I've never seen anybody do it better. Let's be honest. Saying hi to Nicola Jurikin, Sunflower Beth. Nice to have you back, Beth. Rick Hoppy. You said hi to Rick Hoppy earlier. Leaf Underhill.
Rick is an amazing guy. He flew all the way from California for Con of Thrones, and I call him the maester of coffee because he sends me coffee every month, Ethiopian Sadamo and Yirgachev coffee, and it's completely ruined any other type of coffee for me, Steven. I cannot. I'm a coffee snob now.
I mean, I'm with you, but like I tried Ethiopian coffee for the first time maybe 2 weeks ago, and I did not particularly care for it personally. But different coffee. Like I'm a Colombian guy, just through and through. I'm a Colombian guy.
I also, I also mix it up. So, like sometimes I do French press. Sometimes I just do in the coffee maker. Sometimes I'll have espressos. Yeah, we should better not get into coffee because I love coffee.
Well, if that's what you're passionate to talk about.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to make sure I said hi to Aziz and Amanda.
Yeah.
The Disputed Lands.
Love Amanda. She was my roomie with Courtney Matza at DragonCon this year.
Right on. Wheezy. What's up, Wheezy Squeezebox? She always reminds us of what time it is at 20 after the hour. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Kate Berdinsky. And of course, we said Chrissy of Old Stones. Carrie Harrison. Yeah. I'm sure I missed somebody. If I did, I apologize. But yeah, that's quite a turnout for you.
And Anna Iglesias, Leaf Underhill.
Asnova. That's right. Asnova was here really early.
And said they subscribed.
Yep, I subscribed to my channel, which I appreciate.
Awesome.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know, Amanda has been on I Know That Nerd, so you can go watch my interview with her.
She's great.
She is great.
She's so intelligent and so well-spoken.
And if you put a foam sword in her hand, she will kill you.
This is true, man. She's competitive. I love it.
Right on. So you grew up in Ottawa?
So no, I grew up in a town called Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario.
Heard of it? It's on the map of Ticket to Ride.
It's actually right on the U.S. border. There's Sault, Michigan, and Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Right on Lake Superior. Beautiful in the summer, like I said. I'm not a huge winter person, but we get the double lake effect here, so we get a lot of snow during the winter. Like last year, we had over I think we broke a record since 1921 or something. We had 7 or 8 feet of snow last year. So yeah, but there's great fishing. There's great nature around here, Steven.
So during the summer, that sounds wonderful. During the winter, that sounds like one of the levels of hell to me.
It's really hard, man. Like people,
and I'm hot natured to begin with.
I was just talking to a couple of friends of mine. I'm actually going to California for November 1st. I'm going to be there for a few months. which is exciting because I won't be here for winter.
Right, that's good.
But I was just talking about the SAD light, seasonal affective disorder, but it would literally mimic sunlight, and that's how dark it is. Like, if you can imagine the Long Night episode of number 3, imagine that for 5 months.
No thanks, man. And then I was sitting over here while you were telling that story, doing the Fahrenheit to Celsius conversion, so I could tell you when it gets below 10 degrees Celsius, I turn into a whining little baby. I'll do not do the cold.
It was for 3 or I think it was 3 or 4 days last year in a row. It was minus 40, which is colder than the surface of Mars. So yeah, you can die.
The coldest I've ever personally experienced, I think, was it was 2 Fahrenheit, which is, I don't know, -10, -15.
Yeah.
And that was plenty cold for me.
They're pretty close. -40 in our thing
is -40. Yep, that's where they line up.
Or -30 is close. But yeah, it gets really cold during the winter, and it I guess for where I'm at, because of Lake Superior and the double lake effect, it would be around -15, -20 a lot, which is pretty cold. So it's I don't know, man. It is hard, but there is beautiful aspects of it. You know what I mean? The changing of the seasons and stuff like that. And just in general, there's pros and cons.
Oh, for sure. That's probably everywhere you go. The summer, the winters here are very mild, but the summers are killer,
Oh, I've been.
I know. You were in Dallas, and it wasn't even, now, real talk, that was a hot day for May, or a hot weekend for May. But that was not a hot weekend if it was, say, August.
I also stayed in Houston for a month. Or 3 weeks-ish with Blaze Manga. So that was hot as well.
In the summer?
Yeah, was it last year?
That was a mistake. Yeah. I mean, the Blaze Manga guys, Simon and Pedro are great guys, but man, Houston is just Mandy, Mandolin 523. She lives in Houston also. No hate for your town, Mandy, but man.
Oh, cool. You have something popping up on page.
Oh yeah, this is a StreamYard. If you stream with StreamYard,
I'm super new to it. I've only used it a couple times.
Yeah, you know how it gives you the on the side, it gives you the chat.
Yeah.
Well, all you have to do is click on the comment you like. And I wanted to highlight this one because Mandy's we have Steven who lives in the South, which I do, and represents the North, which I do, and Kyle who lives in the North, which you do, and likes to represent the South. The South of Westeros is what I'm assuming she's talking about. Yeah, the Lannisters, and I'm a Stark, and yeah.
The thing is, though, let me clarify. This is because this is also an inside joke, but also fuck the water people, but also we love lion people. I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but Helen, she doesn't like saying the Greyjoys and stuff like that, so she'll say the wolf people. Helen Spengler, a good friend of mine. But yeah, and most of you know her in chat. So this is a joke behind that, but also it has a deeper meaning.
The clueless fangirl.
Yeah. We're going to record another. Helen and me recorded 2 podcasts on Star Wars and the Fandom podcast on my channel. If any of you guys want to go check it out in the chat. But we're going to be recording one on Obi-Wan next week. So that's going to be really
fun. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that series.
Super stoked about that.
So, okay. That brings me, I guess, to another question. You've brought up a lot of different fandoms. So, you're clearly, nobody's questioning your nerd cred here. When did what was the thing that made you become aware that you were a nerd? What was the fandom that made you go, oh, this is for me? And I'm in it.
I mean, I started playing video games. I mean, I had the first Nintendo and Mario came out.
Okay.
I'm like Zelda and those games.
I can see Zelda being the gateway.
Yeah. I think it was Zelda, but also E.T., movies.
All right.
Super early, super late 80s, because I was born in 86.
Okay.
So it was when I was 3 or 4, I can still remember some stuff, not a whole lot, but I would those kinds of movies that I would see. I saw some Star Wars when I was younger, really, really young. I don't remember, I'm kind of probably recreating memories at this point for that age, but but yeah, I guess it would kind of be kind of gaming and also just like kind of, you know, what my parents were into and stuff like that. And just like movies that were like, you know, big at that time.
Right on. So I guess like not theater, but cinema might be your real gateway. Hey, I love that answer. Spielberg, and again, you brought up E.T.
Mm-hmm. That was my favorite movie when I was young.
Right on. There's a lot to love in that movie.
Yeah. So,
okay, good. Somebody had said something.
I still think I have the VHS might be somewhere in the family. I don't know. But I tried to preserve that
right.
VHS, right? Like now it's on DVD and like all over the internet and shit.
Yeah, I think I have VHS still of my original trilogy Star Wars, that the unaltered.
But also like I guess cartoons too, like cartoons, man, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and X-Men. Like those were some of the good ones that were like when I was just.
But the thing is, I mean, I'm not sure I consider like Ninja Turtles to be a nerdy pursuit. You know, I'm not going to disagree with you 100%, but like, I think it was just a thing that a lot of kids liked. You know, but you get those things where it's like, oh, that's for nerds, and you're like, yeah, but I still like it anyway.
Hell yeah. Yeah, but it must be gaming because I always had like whenever the new game system came out, I would have that, play games and stuff like that. And then now we're seeing the reverse where games were getting made into TV shows and movies, right? Like it just kind of like is this phenomenon that kind of started happening like in the past 7-8 years where it's really started to take off.
Right. You ever thought about doing any gaming on your channel?
Hell yeah. Oh, definitely. I've the one game that I've and one thing too is like next year there's some really big games that come out. Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh man.
I'm going to be playing that. And also Final Fantasy VII, the remake. Okay. Like I'm a huge RPG fan. That'll be something that I play if the new Zelda comes out next year. I'll play that too. Breath of the Wild was amazing, but Cyberpunk 77, I'm a huge RPG gamer. And that one's like, it's basically like modern day Skyrim.
Yeah. I'm super on board for it as well. I'm also kind of like a transhumanist. So when you're like, we're cyborgs now, I'm like, oh, hell yes. I think I
you
said
love Blade Runner, all those kind of like,
oh yeah,
like
Ghost in the Shell. Yeah. Ghost in the Shell was my favorite movie for a little while. So not the one that they made for, Western audiences a couple years ago. I'm talking about the anime from the 90s.
Oh, definitely. I grew up on like Ninja Scroll, Gundam, like all the old animes I used to love getting into as well. Like old Dragon Ball Z, of course, is like the easy
Ninja Scroll is brutal, though.
I know. That's that's kind of a more obscure one, but like if you love anime, I mean, now a lot of animes are like, oh, like it's cool to be, you know what I mean? That was kind of one of the first ones that kind of opened the door into be one of those like gory kind of horror-esque animes. But yeah. Oh, cool, John Webster.
Do you know John Webster?
Yeah, man, he's a great guy. I love John. He's always been commenting in the live chats and stuff like that. Great comment section person, community guy. Love John.
Yep, John. So I did not get to meet him at Con of Thrones. He came up to me and said, "Oh, he didn't say anything to me at the con, but he tweeted later that he was too shy to come talk to me at the con." And I promptly grabbed him and said, "You have to like join us now. You are now one of us." So yeah,
I did say a lot of me at the con, which is awesome.
Yeah, so I guess he goes to a lot of your live chats. He's here every Sunday too. He's one of my patrons.
Love John, yeah.
Yep, good guy. Going to share a room with him at Ice and Fire Con.
Ooh, yeah, that'll be the first time I go as well. I'm pretty excited about that.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it, man. So you've never been to Ice and Fire Con?
No, but I've heard a lot from Tara, who is actually the person who runs it every year, but also Aziz and Asheo, of course.
Of course, yeah. Like anything that Aziz tells me to try, I'm at least going to consider it,
At least give it a good ponder, man.
Right. That's how I got into the Expanse. Well, I'm going to actually credit Asheo with the Expanse, but yeah.
Yeah, man. We were, oh man, I love the Expanse even more now.
Yeah, so I watched your Dragon Con. I watched it twice actually, just because it was so good, man. It was so good. You clearly did your homework. And after the fact, after you guys did that and you released that video, I did a segment about the Expanse on my channel, and I had Courtney on, who was there when you were doing it, and I told her the same thing, man. It was just, it's one of the best, and you could tell they were having a good time with it too.
Well, I think, like the one thing that I think, me and you have discussed and other people discussed about the Song of Ice and Fire, but especially Game of Thrones actors and actresses, is how much they care about their specific characters, whether they've read the books or not. You can tell how much they've applied themselves and how much they care about these specific roles. Because let's be honest, these roles are life changing, man. Like
they are.
Game of Thrones is the biggest cooler talk show of all time. Let's just not even try to debate that.
Yeah, I'll agree to that.
But I feel the same kind of energy, because I've been really fortunate. I've got to interview Sibel, who played Shay, and Miltos, who played Sirio, and some of the awesome other actors and actresses, Kate Dickey, some of the awesome people from Thrones. But I feel the same about the people from the Expanse, because last year, me and Ashea went to all of the Expanse panels at DragonCon, and it was the first time that they had Expanse people there. They had Cass Anvar, Shore, Sharla, who's my favorite character, and just
Number two.
And just an amazing cast of them, and it was great. I got to actually and Dominique, I actually got to meet Dominique and Cass at the media relations party last year and hang out with them. They're just super passionate about their jobs, but yeah, man, there's something different about the way they talk about it, but also just the way they feel about it. You can just feel the energy. It's really crazy.
So full disclosure, I am not a long-time fan of the Expanse, but like once I started, I was just couldn't stop. That's how I kind of came through my Song of Ice and Fire too. But like, obviously, you were the same way. So, Sharla, number 2, number 1. Come on, give it up for Murder Snuggles, man. Amos is just the best that guy character ever written. I'm sorry,
dude. Everybody in chat, for what me and Steven are talking about, in case you aren't aware, myself and Ashea and Courtney Monza, we teamed up, and so I every year I go cover DragonCon. I'm really lucky enough to go do that. Dan Carroll and the media relations team, they want YouTubers and some other different media people coming to cover the convention. And this year I applied to interview Steven Strait, who plays Holden on The Expanse, but also Wes Chatham, who plays Amos. And I literally thought there was a 0% chance I was going to get these interviews. And on the Wednesday, before we went to switch to our second Airbnb, got an email, and I showed Courtney the email. I'm like, "Is this real?" She's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Oh my God, we're interviewing Steven and Amos." I say Steven and Amos, Steven and Wes. And I called Ashea, and we were like literally freaking out. We were just like elated. So I'm getting to the point here. I'm telling you, Wes Chatham, out of all the people that I've interviewed and all the people that I've seen at any panels at any convention, I think he was the number one most passionate person about his job and character I've ever seen. I sincerely mean that.
I mean, that's cool. I'm fully jealous that you got to meet him, and I didn't. I didn't get to go to DragonCon, but yeah, I just it's nice to hear that that they're as passionate as ever about this project.
I think one thing too, like that I want to point out is like, because the way things are, like we watch people in movies and television shows, we kind of put these people up on pedestals, right? But once like I've been really lucky into getting to know these people for a very short amount of time behind the scenes, and in these very short interactions, you find that they're just like you, but they just have a different profession where they're in the spotlight. So I wouldn't say all of my interactions have been positive, because there's been people who are not as open to it's more like just a professional thing, you know what I mean? It's just like, okay, like you're doing this interview, I'm here to do this interview, blah blah blah. But it didn't feel like that with Steven or Wes. It felt like they wanted to be there. They were excited. They were having fun. They were loving it. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like some sort of obligation for them. So that for me is kind of what I feel made it so much more special. And yeah, It was just really, really cool, man. All their panels were great, and they just had so many cool things to say and like exciting things about like the progression of the show, like the upcoming seasons and stuff. So
yeah, I'm fully just waiting for December. Just waiting for December.
Oh man, you know what? One thing though is Steven is like all the episodes drop at once on Amazon.
I
So
know.
as a content creator, I'm like,
So
like,
so let's brainstorm this now. My plan is to do a weekly show for 5 weeks where I cover 2 episodes at a time. That's my plan, as of right now, anyway.
you see, I'm an addict though. I have to create daily videos for this stuff. Because like I want to talk about these things every day, so I have to create a video to create a conversation.
Go ahead and do that.
You know what I mean?
Do that. That's internet's a big place. People can watch more than one thing.
Yeah. And The Witcher comes out literally a week after The Expanse drops. So that's quite a December, man.
Yeah, so I probably watched The Witcher, but The Expanse is the show that really captured me after Game of Thrones and made me go, oh, this is something that's really worth deconstructing and chewing on and watching every episode twice and making notes and got me hooked, man.
I mean, the books are great. I mean, it's if you think about it, and like we talk about this all the time, and I try not to criticize things that don't have necessarily as much of a established history or lore within books like A Song of Ice and Fire have had. But of course, it's always great to have kind of this reference. But yeah, The Expanse, the books, and I mean George R. R. Martin himself reads them. He's been, like kind of been in those testimonies that you see on books sometimes. I just think it's obviously James A. The Daniel and Ty, the authors for The Expanse, are just have created this way unique, awesome universe, and it's just so worth getting into. I've only read the first book, so I can't say that I've read all of them, right? But I'm going to. I'm going to for sure.
I'm going to too. I think I'm going to wait until after season 4. Then I'll probably at least read the first 4 books to catch up to the current story.
It's so hard, like how you manage your time. It's like, how am I going to fit all this in? Because I don't necessarily like rushing things all the time when I'm enjoying something that much. You know what I mean?
And you enter binge mode accidentally.
So I kind of gotta, you know what though, like when I'm flying and stuff like that, I do bring audiobooks and stuff like that and podcasts that I listen to. I download stuff and try to keep myself busy when I'm kind of traveling and going to different places. So I do try to use that time if I'm not sleeping to kind of absorb these all this information of stuff that I'm supposed to be covering.
Yeah, and you said it at the beginning, you're covering a whole lot. Like, but I guess do you feel that you're driven to have to do that because, YouTube is your livelihood, yes?
Well, obviously there was less after Game of Thrones, right? Because there was this die down period. But now we're seeing this kind of like who's going to be the next Game of Thrones, essentially. You know what I mean? Like what's out there. Like, there's already great established shows on television. I'm not saying that there isn't anything other than Game of Thrones, but there's kind of like this fight now where it's like, okay, like what's the best show now? But yeah, I don't feel the obligation. It's that I want to. I just really love talking about these things. And but yeah, like before when I first started, Steven, it was just a hobby. And now I'm just like, okay, like, yes, this is my business. This is like there are certain decisions that I'm gonna make, like can I cover 3 shows at once? Do I have help? Can I make this feasible? Do I have time to do all of this? That's kind of like there's all sorts of decisions that I have to make. Like what's kind of stuff I want to cover and how much time I have to do it,
Yeah, and I got to imagine, though, that the nature of the way you interact with the act of making a video has changed since it went from hobby to livelihood.
Definitely. Like Game of Thrones Season 8, I had 2 videos hit 1 million views, which was just absolutely insane. I never thought that would happen. And just like being able to interact in the comment section, for example, just like the amount of views and the people that are interacting with your stuff. If you continually create content, like if you do daily videos, your channel's definitely going to grow if you do make good content. It's so hard to, it like you got to really manage your time well. It's like it really depends what kind of content you're making too. Like look at the history of Westeros, for example. They make one really, really good, solid, like 2 hour, you know what I mean? And it's like, whoa, like you feel like you're watching a documentary. Me, I feel like it's like I'm a host and I'm interacting, kind of giving this like daily news / opinions. You know what I mean?
But again, like internet's a big place and there's room for both. But I'm with you. Like you're right. Mr. Westeros has that method where they spend a huge amount of time making sure they have every piece of information exactly where they want it. Nobody does what they do. Nobody can.
It's so great now, though, Stephen, because like the way we consume content and the way we consume movies and television is so different now. We are like how fast this went to digital. Like I probably watch more YouTube than I watch TV. I mean, I don't know. It's maybe equal. Like Mark Wiens, for example, he's a food blogger. He travels all over the world with his family and he goes and eats street food. I'm a big foodie. I love to watch it, and I watch his like videos 3 times a week. It's just so different in how we interact with things.
It really is. Like I never would have thought I would have been sort of like a talk show host for what just closest thing I can imagine to what I'm doing here. YouTube has really changed the game.
The tools that are available are so different, right? Like, I mean, me and you grew up in a time when there was no cell phones, and most of the people in chat as well. So it's kind of this interesting period where, like, and it's so great because we can get together to discuss these things and do videos and do live streams and make a video and have people interact in the comment section with you, and then reach out on your Twitter or other social medias that you link to your video creating site, you know what I mean, that you have. So it is really interesting, man. YouTube and as the future progresses, there's only going to be more ways to kind of integrate these things and make it easier to make more accessible. Hopefully they don't make it more complicated. You're right. I saw you do. I agree with
you. Positivity, my man. Positivity. I like it.
I've been the target of demonetization 3 or 4 different times, but I finally got that figured out because I've created enough videos now, I think. But I will knock on wood for that. Just never know with these things.
You're right. You don't. I don't know that I'll ever have enough subscribers to monetize this channel. It doesn't really matter,
That's what I said one day when I had 0 subscribers. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I mean, you can't say no, man.
I'm not saying no. I said I don't know. But like, I also feel like it doesn't matter. It's not my livelihood. It would be awesome to not have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go to work. But like, it's a select group of people. And I don't know that I want to devote that much time and energy to make that happen. Because, dude, I know it takes a lot of time and energy to put out as much content as you do, especially it being edited and scripted, I mean, I tell people
you're a one-man team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'm a one-man team, but all I do is I start broadcast, talk for a couple hours, end broadcast, and that's it. I don't edit nothing, I don't script anything. So
edited videos are their own different beast, right? Because like it all depends on the learning curve, how you understand the program, how much time you're willing to put in, and that's right, Stephen. You know what I mean? Most people have day jobs and are doing this kind of as just like side hustle thing. I was in a really unique situation where I wasn't able to work for a long extended period of time. I was able to put all my time into it, and then once I was able to put all my time into it, I was able to do this because I had put in the work. But so I was in it's not easy, as you're saying. Yeah, it does take and I mean branding, art, all sorts of stuff that you want to do.
I have a lot of admiration for people who can put that amount of effort into I'm just doing this for fun, my man. I'm just doing it for fun. And
you know what too, what I honestly try to say is and one thing I really think is it all depends on how you enjoy it. Like I said, like some people just do it for fun. Some people do it as their business. Some do it as a way to get together with other people. There is no right way. You know what I mean? It's how
Right.
you want to enjoy it and how you want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you're singing the praises of YouTube. I got to agree with you. It does give not only everybody who feels like they have something to create a platform to do that, but it also, you can find every kind of content out there. And you know, there's something, you know, with ASMR videos or people putting hot knives through random crap or whatever.
And chances are, Stephen, if like someone watches us and they like us, they might want to go watch something else. And maybe if they're watching us and they don't think that we're good, they might want to go find something that's better. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that most people that I found, especially for a Song of Ice and Fire Game of Thrones community, they're always wanting to seek more opinions because there is so many things to kind of analyze, you know? So I think that is another great thing about it.
That is one of the things I think that made the story great, is the fact that there was so much to chew on in it, and it could be deconstructed in so many interesting ways.
Yeah.
And you did a good bit of deconstructing yourself.
Oh man.
So I'm going to ask you, a couple of people on Twitter did manage to send in some questions, and I'm going to grab a couple of questions for you. And we're going to start with Rita the MF Targ, who asks, why am I always at work when you go live?
Say that again.
Why am I always at work when you go live?
Me?
Well, probably me,
You?
to be honest with you. And that is because you have the wrong job, Rita. Going on to the next question. Kelly, Jaded Redhead Lowry, at Bonnie Last Lowry on Twitter. What's the best concert you've been to? Sorry, it's my go-to question.
No. Okay. So there, have you ever heard of an artist called Dallas Green? He's a Canadian artist. He used to play in a punk rock band called Alexis on Fire. He played at the Ottawa Auditorium once, and he has his own band. He has like other guitar players and stuff, but it was just him, a bottle of whiskey, and an acoustic guitar. And like, if you haven't had a chance to go check him out, he actually has a joint record with Pink, where they did 6 songs together. Amazing. But Dallas is, he's got an amazing voice. And when I saw him live, his voice was just as good as it was on the album. And it's really hard for me to say that I've been to go see many acts like that. But Steven, I'm going to give something more mainstream that people might know. I went to go see a punk rock band called Bad Religion. Which is one of my favorite. I grew up listening to punk rock and metal, which is my favorite genre of music, other than, you know, like reggae and Sublime and stuff, which I also love. But I went and saw them live, and there was literally a mosh pit of 1,000. There must have been 35,000 people watching them, 30,000 people outside, beer tents, all sorts of stuff. I watched Bad Religion at a festival called Blues Fest in Ottawa, and I grew up listening to all their albums. So Bad Religion, it was great.
Cool. I like me some Bad Religion. I like me some rock, punk rock, heavy metal type stuff. Yeah.
I'll give one more. I'm cheating, but I saw BB King 2 years before he died, and he was like just crushing it. I couldn't believe at his age how well he was playing. BB King is another one.
I would love to have seen him. I am a music lover of pretty much every genre except not a whole lot of modern country or pop music. I'm not the biggest fan, but like almost anything else.
And
BB King would have been awesome.
Dude, you know, like punk rock songs are like usually 2-3 minutes long. Bad Religion played for like 90 minutes. They must have played like 30 songs. I was like,
right?
Yes. It was so good.
Yeah, the same 3 chords in 20 of them, but hey, that's punk rock though.
Oh, man, Bad Religion is great, and the message of their music is great. I'm kind of like, no, never mind. Let's not get into that. That's a whole other podcast
where we talk about what it means to be a Bad Religion fan and what their lyrics mean. And okay, maybe later. But we're gonna steer back to something a little bit more nerdy. Magic the Gathering. You and I have had a couple of brief conversations about this the greatest card game of all time.
Mm-hmm. It's no question.
It's not even close.
It's one of the best games of all time. some of my best friends do this full time on Twitch. Actually, a good friend of mine, Gabriel Nassif from France, is actually a world champion.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
he streams on Twitch every day. But I love Magic. I play every day.
I do not play every day. I do love the game of Magic, both from like a sitting down to play it and from a more like meta, top-down, philosophical point of view. I love the game of Magic because it teaches you so much.
Because they're different strategies.
Yeah. Well, I had an ex-girlfriend who told you who would say, I can't do math. And I taught her to play Magic. And after playing for 6 or 8 months, she got to be pretty good at just doing math in her head. Yeah. Because the game forces you to do that.
Combat math.
And it's critical thinking. You have to read the card and understand what the card says. It's well,
I mean, there's kind of this rock paper scissors effect, right? Where like green is good against certain types of other colors, and red's very good against this color, because like each has their own pros and cons. And
the things it does well and the things that don't do well.
Yeah, but it's cool, man, because there's monsters and there's characters and there's stories too.
And if you just like really fantastic fantasy artwork, there's some incredible artwork on some of those cards. Incredible.
I try to get my hands on a few. Liliana of the Veil, in particular, which I've never.
Ooh.
I want to get it framed.
Yeah, I'm a Liliana fan. I'm a black player at heart, anyway. So
I was playing about an hour and a half before the stream. I was playing some Golgari.
Okay,
which is black.
Green and black. And you're a green player at heart, right?
Oh yeah,
I believe you've mentioned Crater Hoof Behemoth to me on 2 separate occasions.
That's my favorite card of all time.
It's a good one. It's a good one. I like Damnation.
Oh, of course you do. Of course making everybody miserable, Steven.
Yeah, well, I'm a black player. I just killed all my creatures, but I killed all yours too. And to be honest with you, I'm also a commander player.
Oh, very cool. I've played a few times.
Not
my jam though.
In the past 5 years, I have played 99% commander.
So I guess
it's just my format. I love it.
So I'm a little bit of a Johnny and a Spike. So I'm competitive and I love to win, but I also love to brew decks. I played at some MCQs. I've made it into a top 8 in North Bay, which is like very small. But yeah,
top 8 is still something, man.
Yeah, but still, like, I think for me, like, commander games just go on far too long for me. You know what I mean? I'm kind of trying to get multiple games in with multiple different friends and stuff like that. And that's
I get it. But for me, it's like it feels more like sitting down at the table to play a board game with your friends. And I love the politics that 4 people brings. Like, if you're in a one-on-one game, there is no, well, if I don't attack, there's no dealing to be made. But like in a table of commander, I can save you from somebody else if I need you alive to save me from them later. That's part of what I love about it.
There are some people who know about Magic in the chat, and then there are many that don't.
Yeah, it is what it is. We'll move on from it in a minute, but
we see it. Santavia Major says, "I don't practice Santeria." That's all you're getting.
I ain't got no crystal ball. I always turn it into a Frank Sinatra song.
If I could find that Hannah.
And then Sancho that she found.
Okay. Now we're gonna get people leaving.
Fantastic band, one of the greatest bands of the '90s.
They're in my top 5 for sure. Bradley Noel. I was just watching some old videotapings of him in the early '90s. He's so good.
Yeah. Oh, and then I hurt my heart thinking about it.
That's probably. I mean, I play guitar. I play a lot of Sublime stuff on acoustic.
Did you ever play in a band?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In high school. Oh, yeah.
Okay, right on. I played a little bit of bass in my day, a little bit of singing in a blues band.
I've done karaoke many, many times with Sublime.
Okay, I can't hate on that, man.
Badfish, Santeria. I mean, obviously, I love the classic songs. Queen is obviously number 1.
Queen is the greatest band of all time.
I agree, actually.
You're allowed to say.
I said this to Aziz and Ashay. I said Queen is the best band of all time. Was it them? I think so, yeah. I said they're the best band of all time. Actually, I think no, it was Robert and Deep Geek. Sorry, we were at Con of Thrones in Nashville.
Oh, I think I was there for this conversation.
And Robert agreed with me.
Mm-hmm.
But there was some like, there's some other people. I was like, no. Okay, Freddie Mercury, Queen, best band of all time.
Okay, I agree. You're preaching at the choir. If somebody comes at me with like the Beatles or
I don't even like the Beatles that much.
okay, I do. We're gonna disagree, but like I still think Queen is better. But like if you come at me with the Beatles, I'm not gonna think you're stupid.
Bohemian Rhapsody, best song of all time. I mean,
maybe.
I think so. I mean, composition wise, I mean, just like everything, musical instruments, singing, lyrics, story. I think
I've always been a little more partial to "Don't Stop Me Now."
That's a good.
If that song's a pretty wild ride too.
So, oh God, yeah. We shouldn't get. There's going to be some mad.
Oh yeah, of course we're going to be like people are bringing up Floyd, and I knew somebody was going to say Zeppelin. Yeah, Eagles are a great band. I'm sorry, they're not Queen. No, Zeppelin's a great band. I'm sorry, it's not Queen.
It really is a hard debate because it depends on your taste of music.
It does.
But the fact that most people agree that Queen is a great band says a lot about the band.
Right. I can see my hating on people's picks. I'm like, my subscriber count must be dropping like like a Led Zeppelin.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Boom.
Oh man, 800 vinyls.
Wow, crazy.
That's crazy.
All right. Well, we're about an hour in. I want to take a moment to say a couple of things. First and foremost, thank you to my to Lord Ridiculous Ed Tollett, my patron who earns himself a shout out in every live stream. I'm going to tell you all that if you want to link to any of Kyle's stuff, the link to his YouTube and his Twitter is in the description down below. There's also links to my Twitter and my Patreon. If you like what I do here, consider supporting me on Patreon. Again, every video I make will always be free. So my Patreons get extra stuff in other ways. Sometimes I do giveaways, private like hangout sections for them and stuff like that. So yeah. And
also, I can confirm that Steven is great.
So, I am what?
Great.
Oh, well, thank you.
I wasn't calling you a grape. I promise.
Okay. Appreciate that. I'm more of a blueberry than a grape. And also wanted to plug Kim Renfro. Her book, The Unofficial Guide to Game of Thrones, just came out. Go out to a bookstore and get it or order it wherever internet sells books.
Kim is great as well. I've got to meet her at Con of Thrones.
Yeah, I did
too. Time now. Great attitude, nice gal, super passionate about what she does.
Yep, I've met her 2 years in a row now. I've only read like the first couple of pages. It's been a busy weekend, but go get her book. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. She spent a long time writing it.
Also, Urtach Altanaz. I don't know if you saw Stephen. He's a compendium of that. That art book is coming out soon. I don't know when.
I don't know either. I'm looking forward to it.
Amazing. I saw Urtach showed me a little video of it.
Urtach's stuff is incredible. Yeah. Like I've always thought he was amazing at what he did.
He's gonna try to make it to Con of Thrones next year.
I hope so, man. I hope so. Imagine though. I know he's Turkish. I don't know if he lives in Turkey, but that's a long way to come.
It very much is, yeah. Plane tickets, I know all about the pricing of those.
Yeah.
So I can imagine it's exponentially higher. For
him. You don't even have to cross the ocean.
Yeah, exactly.
So I did meet you at the first Con of Thrones, and it was super brief. And I did meet you at the second Con of Thrones, but it was also super brief.
Yeah. They fly by, don't they? It's really crazy, man.
But Con of Thrones this year, I actually got to hang out with you, hang out with you for real for the first time at this sort of the legendary Sunday, not a party because parties aren't allowed here. That was at your place, and I continually tell people that's the best party I've ever been to in my life, man. That was a killer get together.
It was cool, man. It was so nice to have so many people that are of the same energy hanging out. You know what I mean? Obviously, we couldn't have like 100 people there. Obviously, you know what I mean. We tried to have some of the patrons of the channel and some of the people that have been supporters for Gemma and Robert, like their close friends and stuff like that. We tried to get to, I mean, community people. We had people who would. Some people who would just come in for like a couple days, like Saturday and Sunday, or just a Sunday, just kind of trying to entertain them and stuff like that. But that was really cool. The Wolf and the Crows were there. That was really cool. You know, it was cool, man. Just to, you know, just hang out with everyone and just because, like I said, it goes by so fast. And then when you realize that the next day you're not going to be with some of the best people that you know in the whole world again, and you have to go back to normalcy, it's really hard. And honestly,
it sucked, man. It sucked really bad. That was the first time I'd pulled an all-nighter in probably 15 or 20 years.
I think I went to bed a little bit earlier than you did. I think I went to bed at like 3:30. I don't know. I tried.
6 in the morning, we called an Uber to come get us. And that was literally like, I
did you go to the airport like right then too?
Yes, I had to go grab my luggage and get right back in the Uber and go to the airport to not miss my plane, because I'm like, I have to leave or I'm gonna miss my flight.
I think too, like, you know, the year before, me and Gemma came for the first time to Con of Thrones, and we had shared a suite, and that worked out great. So we had our like own little hotel room thingy where we had our own beds, and then we kind of had a suite where we can like have a little living room where we could have people over and stuff like that. But this year we wanted to like have a little bit, like we have a little bit more open, so we could have a few more people. It's super hard at a hotel. You don't want to have too many people. You don't want to like, you know, have someone spill a drink. You know what I mean? You don't want to get like, yeah.
I do want to address a question. Leaf Underhill asks if you're going to be at Ice and Fire Con.
Yeah, I bought my ticket and I got a cabin, so I'll be there.
I've got my ticket and John Webster got my cabin, but I guess I'm paying him back eventually or whatever.
No, I'll definitely be there, and yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, Mandy was there the night of that crazy. Well, it wasn't a crazy party. It was just like it's actually pretty chill, but the guest list was just
yeah, Mandolin was there. Mandy, we had a few people there. It was cool, man. Like the thing is too is like, you know, all the other days, like you're getting ready for cosplays and there's like parties at like the Crying Wolf where everybody like where there's a bar, like Rick Hoppy was there, for example. Everybody got to meet up, and those are specific meetups where the whole fandom goes.
Oh, you know? I just posted. I just like stuck his comment up, and I see the picture, and I'm like, I think I recognize you now.
Yeah, he was sitting down with the picnic tables outside at the Crying Wolf.
Right.
But he like went to a bunch of panels and stuff too. Rick was hanging out. And just like, I think the thing too, what you were kind of alluding to earlier, Steven, is like, it does fly by. So like you may only get to see someone for like 15 seconds and give them a hug or whatever, but the chance to get extended hangout time is always great, especially at cons. Because it's so like it's spontaneous things happen too. And I think too, like, yeah, you plan out things, but it's also cool to keep things open in your schedule sometimes. So you like if you do meet a new friend, you're like, yeah, let's go have a drink or a bite to eat or something, or like let's chat. Like, you know, just you have that open time to do whatever you want.
Like I always say, I'm single, you just never know. Gotta keep your options, you know?
But the first time I met you, you were wearing your was it Liana? Was it Liana?
No. If you're talking about because I only did Liana this year.
There was the first one. You had I think you did have the Crown of Winter Road. You had like a big cross thing.
Oh, yeah. So the first year in Nashville, the only cosplay I did was like a Stark soldier, and I did have the like 8-foot banner. And if anybody cares, I'll post a picture of it on my Twitter after the live stream. But yeah.
Cool. One of the best cosplays.
Thanks, man. I didn't make it, so I don't think it counts. You know,
I think it does.
All credit goes to those people who actually spend the time to research and make their own. You know, my level of cosplay is for fun. Theirs are the ones that should win the competition.
I can never make a cosplay. Let's put it that way.
I didn't make mine. You know, most of mine was just bought.
Yeah,
but you know, I do it for fun.
And that's what it's supposed to be about, my friend.
So Kyle, we need to get you into cosplaying because it's so much fun. Who do you want to cosplay?
Well, I did do some cosplay at Dragon Con. I did Hopper. I did Hopper from Stranger Things.
Oh, nice.
And I am going to ball at the wall. I may or may not be doing some sort of mash Stranger Things Game of Thrones mashup. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, but and a Song of Ice and Fire cosplay.
Ooh,
I'd love to see you in some kind of a Song of Ice and Fire cosplay.
Bobby B.
That'd be cool.
Oh, you shit.
Although if it were me, I would just fully embrace the Kylese moniker and figure out which Daenerys dress suits you best and go with that one.
People always want the Karth one. That's
dude. Okay, I got you the Karth one with the one breast hanging out, the book accurate Karth one. Okay, give me the TV show Daenerys in Astapor. The blue one with the kind of like leather pants under it. Yeah, with the boob window. It's good stuff, man.
I'll think about it.
All right. Everybody try to tweet at him and get him to do this.
Bernie says one titty out, please.
Yep.
So much fun.
I've got one more question for you from somebody on Twitter. The Green Grace at T Green Grace asks, Kyle, what was your best interview and what was the coolest place you've traveled to for a Song of Ice and Fire / Game of Thrones coverage?
I'll tell. Should I tell the fun story first or the best interview first?
It's your platform, man. Go ahead.
We'll save the story. Best interview. It's a tie. I absolutely adore Sibel. I got to interview her. Sibel Kekeli, who plays Shay, who played Shay on Game of Thrones. I'll tell you a little story too, I guess, about that one. So my camera was malfunctioning. Usually you only get a certain amount of time for interviews. And so we were getting some time to fix my camera, why it wasn't working or recording. And then I sat down beside Sibel. She's like, let's chat until like someone was figuring out the camera for me. And she goes, you're stressed, my little lion. And she starts petting me. And I go, I love you. Right. And her fiance's there and the whole room cracks up. Her fiance's like sitting like right across from us. And I look at him and I'm like, I love her. And it was just really funny. But anyways, the camera started working right after that, like 30 seconds later. But she was super sweet. She gave me a big hug. I don't know. I'm still actually in contact with her. I still chat with her sometimes on Instagram every now and then. Like she travels a lot. I travel a lot. I'm really, really lucky to have still been in connection with her. But she was super sweet and she was just super like passionate. But also Wes and Steven from Dragon Con. I don't know. It's really hard to pick because I have so much respect for all of these artists and their craft. So it's really hard to just kind of pick two. But I would say, I mean, Sibel's probably my favorite of the bunch because of the interaction I've had with her.
Yeah, that's a great story, man.
So traveling, Steven, so last year I got to meet George R. R. Martin multiple times. So I got books signed by him. He was at Worldcon 76. But also, I got to go to a Brotherhood Without Banners party, which is George's Brotherhood Without Banners. So the Brotherhood Without Banners were established when George started going to these Worldcons. Whenever city he was in, they would go get him like the best barbecue or whatever, because like he has a tight schedule as going to sign autographs and stuff. Of
course, like that. He does, yeah.
But I got inducted into the BWB last year. I got to meet George, speak with him. He told me. We talked a little bit about where I lived and how it was cold, the true north. And he told me to move to California. And I'm going to California for a few months starting November 1st. So it's kind of weird. Maybe George has got great premonitions. But that was really cool.
Foretold.
George is seeing the future. But yeah, no, I would probably say Worldcon, man. Redwood City, California is so beautiful, man. I love California. I can't stop thinking about it. I'm just so excited to go again. But it was so cool to get to meet George R. R. Martin. But most importantly, hear him speak for like 3 hours at the Fox Theater in Redwood City. So I would think that would kind of be the cool. Like I went to Europe, but there wasn't a huge thing there. So it's a little bit different because George R. R. Martin is George R. R. Martin. So I think I have to say California.
Okay, you don't have to say anything, but like it's still.
I hope that's a good answer. I hope that's an okay answer.
I'm not going to argue against it.
I hope that's a good answer.
It's as good an answer as any of us can hope for. Okay, so Kyle, you had said something to me before we started that you might need to not go. You might need to cut it a little short. So everybody in the chat, Kyle,
I got 15 minutes. I got almost 15 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got about 15 minutes. Kyle's mother is not feeling well, and he's helping take care of her. So this is your chance if you're here live in the chat and you want to ask Kyle something ridiculous, something serious. Be nice. We're always nice to our guests here, but ask away.
Yeah.
I'll kick it off with one of my favorite questions. Okay. Hot dog, sandwich or not a sandwich?
Not a sandwich.
Wrong. Okay.
I mean, it's bread and it's meat. You can put mustard on it, not ketchup.
It's a sandwich.
Okay. If you want to say it's a sandwich,
well, I just did.
My idea of a sandwich is like, I don't know, it's different. But I do enjoy them. I've had good ones.
A good hot dog is really, really nice. Ana Iglesias asks, have you watched Dark? That's on my list, but it's anything with subtitles. I've
heard it's like Stranger Things, if I guess, kind of like a darker version of Stranger Things, if that's correct.
Jesus Christ, darker version of Stranger Things? I guess the kids actually get eaten.
I don't know. I mean, I heard there's like some sort of weird time loop. It's like this weird paradox. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it's good. There's 2 seasons of it.
Right. I mean, I hear good things.
Yeah. But I have so many other shows that I have list. It's like just down there on the list, unfortunately.
Right. That's always the problem. So Carla Way asks, red wine or white wine?
Red wine, easy. I'm Merlot, my fave. And then I also really, really like Cabernet Sauvignon. And I also like Riches and Zinfandels as well. I like full-bodied reds.
There you go. I don't drink, so y'all are going over my head a little bit. I've heard words like Merlot and Cabernet before, but like
actually, I trained for my beer and wine certification when I was like 20. I bartended bartended and served for like the majority of my 20s.
Right. Well, that's cool though. Like just because I don't drink doesn't mean you shouldn't. It doesn't do for me what it does for other people. So I find my enjoyment elsewhere.
You partake in other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I find my relaxation elsewhere.
Yeah, I also enjoy those.
So what's something that you haven't seen yet though that's like high on your list right now? Like what's the next thing you'd go to if you're going to start a show for like personal enjoyment?
Oh, damn. That's a really tough one, man. I have a list somewhere, man.
In the back of the brain, the same place we all keep it. Like, yeah, going on the list.
I'm like way behind on Better Call Saul. Like I watched a few episodes of that. I feel like that would be really good. I think I watched the first season of that, and that's kind of like I love Breaking Bad. El Camino that just came out. I haven't watched that yet. I'm gonna watch that tonight. It's all about Jesse Pinkman. So huge fan of Breaking Bad. That's something that I'm into for sure. Yeah, I mean, that's really tough, man. Like shows that I like, I'm behind one season of Last Kingdom, but I guess that doesn't really count because I've already started. Oh man. Oh, that's super hard.
Okay. Well, I didn't mean to like give you a stumper here.
No. I think, let me come back to that one because I'll think about it.
Well, the Prince That Wasn't Promised just asks, favorite strain?
Jack Herer. I'm a big fan of sativas. It's probably my favorite one. I also Yeah, I don't know. I like them. I like all the sativas a lot.
I'm an indica guy myself. I had this stuff the other day called Platinum Mango. Ooh,
Ooh,
ooh.
I do love a good OG Kush. No, I will say that.
I mean,
That's
what's not to love?
smell.
Mm,
Smell.
yeah.
Yeah, it smells like chocolate pine. It's like insane.
Mm, mm.
But
Bert,
I enjoy both.
now we're getting a lot of people in the chat chiming in with their favorites. I see some Afghani Kush, some Northern Lights. Yeah,
I'm loving it,
I'm
honestly.
loving it
I'm
too.
loving the.
Only if it's legal where you live, folks.
Oh, one show that I heard was really good that I never got to see was one called The Americans, and it was about the Cold War, and Carrie Russell's in it.
Yes.
That is one that I never got to check out, and I know it ended, but I heard it was like really, really good, and it won awards. That was one that I really wanted to check out.
Cool. And that does flash back to like Cold War era, which some crazy stuff going on in that time. We lived it. We lived it. I guess you were born kind of at the tail end of it.
Yeah, I was born in '86.
So you don't even remember East Germany and West Germany.
My uncle did have part of the Berlin Wall in his fireplace.
Right on.
Yeah, but that's one of them. There's got to be so many more shows. Oh my god! Like I have a list of stuff that I'm just way, way, way behind on. I'm just because yeah.
But what a great what does that say about television of today that you can't keep up with everything that's excellent?
It is crazy, right? Because there is so many shows, like Peaky Blinders, for example. I got to watch the new season of that. That just came out. Yeah, I'm like, and then there's all these upcoming shows that like I have to come check out too. So that's a really hard question, but I do like sci-fi a lot. I do love fantasy. So anything kind of in that realm, I'd probably be really into.
Cool. So
Yeah.
more excited than for Game of Thrones prequel show or Lord of the Rings prequel show? You only get one.
I mean, Game of Thrones prequel, man. I
Really?
mean, hell yeah, I want more. I want more Song of Ice and Fire, man. Here's the thing: I will get Lord of the Rings movies will always be my favorite, but I mean, I want to like this time period that they're going to be doing in the prequels. This descent from the Age of Heroes. What are we going to see? Are we going to see more of the Children of the Forest, the more of the inception of the White Walkers, the Stark family? Because there's no Targaryens in this period, right? But they also did say that we are going to get something that's coming from Fire and Blood, most likely the Dance of Dragons, the original Dance of Dragons. So I'm particularly excited about the Game of Thrones prequel, and I think too part of the reason why I'm more excited about it is because I'm going to get to interact with so many of you. So that's kind of like the cherry on top. Like, yeah, right. I want more content myself because I want to watch more Thrones and learn more about the history and kind of the deep hidden meanings and all these secrets and stuff. But also because I get to make content creation and interact with all sorts of cool people.
I'm sorry. I got distracted by Bernie. Asking to hear my mom scream about the Cowboys game. I don't know. I'm not paying attention to know.
My Philadelphia Eagles pooped the bed today.
Oh, that's fantastic news. My favorite football team of all time is whoever's playing the Eagles this week.
Oh, that's Steven. I'm gonna have to sign off if you continue to talk.
Okay, well, I got my ideas, so I'll consider it a wash.
We can both agree that Eli Manning sucks. How about that?
Everybody's asking about mom. My mother is almost always in the chat, and she's not here this week because the Cowboys are playing right now.
And that's true. I mean, they're definitely going to beat the Jets because the Jets are the worst team in the league.
And my mother loves all of her children very much, but her priorities are what they are. She just loves her Cowboys a little bit more than she loved me. So.
Oh man, I hate the Cowboys.
I know. I'm not really a football football guy at all.
I am a football fan. My Eagles did win a Super Bowl 2 years ago, so I guess. So yeah. Oh, another show I haven't checked out was Mindhunter. I wanted to check that one out. I love all the like learning about kind of these periods where like this is when they started to really use the term serial killer. And when they really started kind of use psychology and lots of FBI work and stuff like that in some of these crazy cases that were popping up back in the day. Mindhunter's is another show I wanted to check out that I have.
Yeah, I've seen one season of that, and I think it was the first one. I don't know. Where the really big guy, very soft-spoken, mustache, glasses. I can't think of the guy's actual name, the real serial killer. They killed his mom and stuff. Yeah.
Man,
Am I thinking of the right show?
I'm not sure.
Maybe I'm not.
I've got so many shows on the mind now. Now that you've asked me that question, I've been deep searching into the abyss of what shows I've been missing.
So what was the last show you watched just for fun?
Oh man. That would be Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance.
Okay.
I watched most of it with Aziz and Ashea at their place.
Awesome. So let me ask you what you thought of it.
I thought it was amazing. I thought
it was okay, chat people, there you have it. He thought it was amazing. I'm really glad you enjoyed it, sir.
Dude, I thought I have to go watch the original movie because I haven't seen it in years. I remember bits and pieces of it, but I thought it was great. And my gal, Nally Emmanuel, you know what I'm saying? Masande, my favorite. So she was deep.
Okay. Full disclosure, get ready to sign off. Okay.
Yeah.
I made it 10 minutes into episode 1 and it was like, I hate this.
Really?
Yeah. And I've said it before on the channel, and there's John Webster calling me out, and I know a lot of people really loved it. It just never. I didn't. I tried. I wanted to.
That's cool though, man. Like, I mean, there's literally so many things that you could go watch and enjoy. If you don't waste your time on it. If you don't like it, you don't have to. You know what I mean?
I'm considering giving it a second chance to see if I can get past whatever wasn't speaking to me,
Well, I mean, it only gets more and more intense as the story goes, right? You meet more characters and stuff like that.
Well, and to be honest with you, Anna, I hope it gets a second season too, because clearly a lot of people enjoyed it. And why would I not want those people to get another season of enjoyment, and I hope it's great. I really do. But I like literally 10 minutes in, I turned it off and I said to myself, I hate this. But maybe if I gave it a full episode or two, I would change my tune. We'll see.
Let me ask you a question, Steve.
Sure.
What show are you most excited for that's on the horizon? There's Mandalorian, there's Witcher, there's Thrones, there's Lord of the Rings, there's Vikings, there's all sorts of shows coming out. What are you interested in?
Okay. It might actually be... I'm probably going to go with something that will be on Disney Plus in the Marvel. And it might be... Okay. If they have anything with Kamala Khan, which I don't know if they will, but if they have anything that's with Kamala Khan, that will instantly shoot to number 1. But it might be that WandaVision weird sitcom, mind-bending. Yeah, that might be the thing I'm most looking forward to.
It's going to be great, man. I'm really excited for Mandalorian, first of all.
Oh, yeah. Anything with Star Wars in the title, too, yes.
And Pedro Pascal, who's just... He's great. He was amazing in Narcos, by the way. If anybody hasn't checked out Narcos, very, very great show. But yeah, I'm really kind of excited. Oh, Picard. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Nessie, you got a solid point there. Picard is also one.
Patrick Stewart is the man. Let's just be honest about that.
So, fun fact, I just started rewatching The Next Generation from the very beginning, and I've only watched the first few episodes. There is an episode, like episode 2 of season 1, called The Naked Now, that is maybe the funniest freaking episode of Star Trek I've ever seen. go watch that one again if you have a chance. No further context, just it's hilarious.
Oh man, how many episodes are there? Like, there's like a zillion Star Trek episodes, right?
There's 5 or 6, maybe 7. I don't know. My brother's got them all. He's the real Trekkie.
You know what was one of the most underrated shows of all time, and I have to say this, was a show called Fringe. It was one of my favorite shows.
It was a weird show, but it was good.
Yeah, it was kind of like newer version of the X-Files, and it was just such a great show. I might go back and rewatch that. But I mean, listen, I got to cover the Expanse. I'm definitely covering Vikings because last year the channel was doing really, really well with Vikings content, and I abandoned it just right before Game of Thrones, and people were like, "What the hell?" So now there's no Thrones, and Vikings is coming back with 20 more episodes to finish the whole series. So I got to cover that.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, part of you needs to go where the views are, and part of you needs to go where your heart takes you. And
I'm just super excited to see the episodes. I'm just like, and two, like, honestly, like, I want Thrones, but it's also kind of nice to see kind of what show is going to kind of take off without Thrones around. So we'll see.
Yeah, and the thing is, people are looking actively for it. I actually predict it's going to be The Expanse because
it's so good. It's so good.
Notice how much buzz has been generated for that show just in like the last 5 or 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
so I'm toying with the idea, and this was actually Courtney Matza was talking about this, kind of doing like a History of Westeros-esque chapter TV type thing with Courtney type deal. I don't know. I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking about it. I'm definitely going to be covering The Expanse when it comes out for sure. Because I interviewed Stephen and Wes, and if I don't create Expanse content, I'm gonna like, what? Why? Right. So I have to. I mean, I think The Expanse is now my favorite show. Now that Thrones is gone, probably.
I think for me too. It's the one I'm like. You asked me what show on the horizon, so I limited it to shows that.
The Mandalorian, I think, is going to be really good because John Favreau, who is Iron Man's director,
no doubts about it. But like, I didn't say The Expanse because I limited it only to shows that have that are new shows.
But there really is so much coming out, man. Gee.
Everybody say hi to Mom. I guess the Cowboy game is over. Hi, Mom.
Cowboys lost to the Jets.
Yep, she late because she's watching her Cowboys lose.
Yeah. And my Eagles lost today, so it is what it is. I can't say much.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. What? There it is. That's the comment I'm looking for. What platform is The Expanse on? The Expanse is on Amazon Prime, and
highly recommended.
And you have enough time if you start right now and just watch one episode a day. You can be fully caught up before the next season comes out, and it is the best science fiction show I've ever watched, and we've discussed Star Trek better than any Star Trek. Personal opinion, but to me,
it's like Game of Thrones in space. There's this kind of like
enough similarities. Yeah.
So you got the politics between different warring nations, except they're literally planets: Mars, Earth, asteroid belt. Not going to spoil too much there. And then there's also this existential, magical, like universal threat that's out there. Really like the White Walkers, and it's scary as fuck.
Yeah, and then there's all the characters have like shades of gray going on to them, and there are multiple different storylines that will intersect and move apart. It's a really, really excellent show. Anybody I'm recommending a show to right now, I'm telling them go watch The Expanse.
There's only been 3 seasons, but it's up there in my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah,
that's how good it is.
Yeah, it's the best science fiction show I've ever seen.
It is. I think it is. It's so interesting because I've heard rumblings about why season 4 is going to be so great, but just hearing it firsthand from Steven and Wes, they're like, the season 3 was so good. Like episode 1, it was like, okay. And then you thought that was intense. And by episode 5, you're like, you're feeling the G's. You're literally feeling the G's of traveling in outer space, man.
So the quick disclaimer for those of you who have not watched The Expanse, everybody, give it till episode 4. The first couple of episodes are a lot of world building, a lot of character introduction. They're still very good, I think. Some people will tell you they're slow. I will tell you it's a bit of a slow burn, but Game of Thrones was a bit of a slow burn.
So to get that mystery and you get pulled in, you're like, whoa. Oh my God, that's that? Okay, I'm in.
But about episode 4, that show puts its foot on the gas and does not look back.
Miller. Like Miller was the MVP of season 1, I think.
I agree.
And then, anyways, I'm not going to say much more. You got to go watch The Expanse.
Go watch The Expanse. It's totally worth your
time. Oh man!
I look forward to maybe doing some content with you once the new.
Oh yeah, let's do a conversation. I'm down for that.
Okay, after the new season, we'll do something for sure.
Yeah, down. We'll do a podcast on it for sure. Something.
Yep. Okay, Kyle. I don't want to keep you longer than you really have.
This was really fun, man.
We try to have a good time here on Sundays, and you're welcome back anytime to talk about any of the things you love,
love it all. We didn't even talk that much about Marvel today. Like we've had discussions about this other kind of stuff a couple different times.
Yeah, and we didn't even I asked you almost nothing about what did you do in high school and what was your extracurricular. That stuff I usually get to. But
Steven, I love to cook. How about that?
Okay, that's a good tease for part 2, I guess.
we can do a part. We can do maybe have me on for a part 2. During Expanse season.
Sounds good to me, my man.
I'm in.
All right. Well, again, I want to thank you first of all for coming. I know you got to go take care of Mom.
Yeah.
Yourself. So we're going to let you go here pretty quick. Once more, all the links to Kyle are down in the description below. Well, to your Twitter and your YouTube anyway. And from there, you're going to be able to find everything else he does. What do you got coming up next?
Mandalorian is the next. Well, I mean, Watchmen comes out this weekend, so super excited about that. Ball the Wall, I got something special planned for that. I can't say, but there is going to be something I'm going to be sharing. It's going to be cool, Game of Thrones related from that. So there's that. And Mandalorian comes out in November, man, and then Vikings, and then so Mandalorian, Vikings in November, and then it's Witcher Expanse in December. So I'm like. I might have to hire another editor because I don't know if I'm going to be able.
You might do. I know a couple of good ones.
I'm thinking about it, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm super excited to be those. Those are kind of the shows I'm looking at. Yeah, I'm just really excited to cover. I mean, I think I'm really looking at the Mandalorian, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be. I think Mandalorian is going to be amazing.
Well, John Webster agrees with you. Mandalorian. I'm really looking forward to it too. I'm going to get Disney Plus on day 1.
Same. And then next year we got what? No, Hawkeye is not next year, is it?
I don't have it in front of me, and there's so much Marvel stuff.
But I know there's Winter Soldier, Falcon. I'll be covering all the Disney Plus stuff. I love Marvel. I'm just gonna create fun content that I want to create, and yeah, I'm just gonna continue with that.
Cool. Well, we're all looking forward to that. And once again, my links are down in the description below. Follow me on Twitter if you don't. If you like what I'm doing here, consider subscribing to my Patreon. I appreciate the support. Again, all my video content here on the channel, all of these I Know That Nerds will always be free to everyone. Patreon is just for those who want to show me a little extra love, and I'll show you a little extra love on the side as well. And so as far as next week's stream, I don't really have anything lined up just yet. I'm going to get with a couple of people and see what we can come together with. It is not, and I Know That Nerd next week. But the week after that, we should have Gray Area coming on then.
Oh, very cool. She's great.
She was supposed to be on last weekend, but she had a schedule conflict. So we've moved her to the end of the month, and hopefully we'll see her then. And, keep an eye on my Twitter for information on what's coming next weekend.
Thanks for having me again, Steve.
You're very welcome, and thank you so much for coming. It's always a blast to have, pillars of the fandom and people who are helping to build the community. And it's just, this show and this channel is just a place where I try to do my little part in making that happen too.
Feel the same way, my man.
All right. Well, that having been said, to everyone in the chat, thanks for coming. I love y'all. So peace and be excellent to each other. And I'll see you next weekend.